From penthouse views to prison walls, Lil Durk's life has taken a wild turn in the last 5 months. The feds got him locked inside MDC, Los Angeles, as he awaits trial on RICO-style charges. The feds hit him with their saying Durk put money on a rival's head, and if he's found guilty, the rapper's looking at a long life behind bars, no parole, no way out. But before his trial comes up, what's it really like for the OTF leader behind bars? Lil Durk's life in prison. Lil Durk was living the high life, multi-million-dollar mansions, luxury cars, private jets, and a career that had him sitting at the top of the rap game. But in the blink of an eye, all of that was stripped away now. Instead of waking up to ocean views and designer sheets, he's opening his eyes to the cold, dimly lit walls of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles. Durk, real name Durk Derek Banks, was arrested on October 24th and initially locked up at the Miami Federal Detention Center. But this wasn't just another run-in with the law. This time, the feds were coming down with full force. He wasn't facing a minor charge. He was hit with a superseding indictment, tying him to an alleged murder-for-hire plot that ended in bloodshed. The case revolved around the August 2022 killing of Luaquando Rondo's cousin, in what prosecutors claim was a targeted hit as the charges piled up: conspiracy, possession of firearms, and orchestrating a murder for hire. The government made one thing clear: they weren't letting Durk walk away from this easily. His legal team threw everything at the judge, offering up a $3 million bond package. But the courts weren't budging. They denied his bail, stating that he was too much of a risk. The decision shattered any hope of temporary freedom, leaving Durk stuck behind bars until trial on November 13th. He was quietly transferred to NDC Los Angeles, where he now waits locked in with some of his closest OTF affiliates: Kevin KZ, Grant DeAndre, D.D. Wilson, Keith Flacca Jones, and ASA Boogie Houston, all of whom are facing the same serious charges. They once ran the streets together, but now they're locked in a high-security facility, their futures hanging in the balance. If Durk thought MDC law would be any easier than Miami, he was mistaken. MDC isn't your typical prison. It doesn't have iron bars or the eerie dungeon-like look of an old-school penitentiary. But don't be fooled by the modern design inside. It's every man for himself. The facility, built in 1988, was designed to hold pre-trial detainees, meaning it houses criminals awaiting trial rather than those serving long-term sentences. But with overcrowding and staffing shortages, the prison has become a dangerous battleground. Unlike state prisons, where inmates are segregated by security levels, MDCL is a mixed bag. You've got drug lords, violent offenders, high-profile criminals, and gang leaders, all under one route. And when you put that many powerful men in one confined space, it's a recipe for chaos. Violence is a daily occurrence. There's no telling when a fight might break out, when tempers might explode, or when a simple argument could turn into a full-blown riot. There's no such thing as celebrity status behind those walls. Lil Durk might be one of the biggest rappers in the world, but to some of these inmates, he's just another target. Adding to the danger is the presence of smuggled contraband. Multiple guards at MDC have been indicted for sneaking in drugs, weapons, and cell phones for the right price. Corrupt officers are turning a blind eye, allowing criminal networks inside the prison to thrive. For someone like Durk, who's already got a target on his back due to his rap career and gang affiliations, one wrong move could put him in the crosshairs. The prison itself is in rough shape. Inmates have described the facility as neglected, with broken equipment, deteriorating living conditions, and endless delays for repairs. Even basic necessities can take months to be addressed, making everyday life frustrating and unpredictable. Being locked up with his OTF affiliates might seem like an advantage, but in the world of the feds, loyalty is never guaranteed. Pressure makes people crack, and when the stakes are this high, even the closest bonds can be tested. Durk and his crew aren't just sitting around playing cards. They're fighting for their lives. The feds have built a strong case, and as trial approaches, the tension is only growing. The possibility of informants, plea deals, and betrayals looms over every conversation. Nobody wants to be the one left holding the bag. And when federal charges come into play, the sentence reductions for snitching can be tempting. It's also unclear how much direct communication Durk has with his co-defendants. In federal lockup, separation tactics are common, keeping co-conspirators apart to prevent them from coordinating stories or influencing testimonies. If the feds suspect any attempts at witness tampering, things could get even worse for Durk. On top of all that, Durk has already caught the attention of prison officials for breaking the rules. According to court filings, he's been caught making unauthorized three-way calls, something explicitly forbidden by MDC regulations. Prosecutors jumped on this, using it as evidence that he can't even follow jailhouse rules. So how could he be trusted to follow the law? If released, it was just another nail in the coffin for his bail request. Beyond the physical threats, there's the mental battle sitting in a Cell cut off from the outside world, forced to wait while your fate is decided. That does something to a person. Durk, who has built his entire career on survival and resilience, now finds himself in the ultimate test. The prison offers basic mental health services, but for someone like Durk, those resources are limited. Inmates can access crisis intervention and therapy, but group sessions and one-on-one meetings are rare. Most of the time, inmates are left to deal with their thoughts alone. The isolation, the uncertainty, the constant feeling of being watched. It's a psychological warfare that and break even the strongest mind. Durk's only real escape comes in the form of recreational activity. MDCL offers basketball, indoor games like ping pong and pool, and even educational programs for inmates looking to earn their GED. But in a place where violence can pop off at any second, relaxation isn't always an option. Even stepping onto the basketball court requires watching your back. Despite everything, Durk is keeping his head up, or at least that's what he wants the outside world to believe. A leaked prison phone call from November 15th had him sounding optimistic, telling a friend that he was maintaining high spirits and staying focused on getting back to his family. Just got off the phone with my brother at Lirhian. Good spirits, staying positive and fighting to get back home to his kids and family. The Instagram caption read, "We not glorifying negativity. We're more than just street guys. We're men of honor and code." But how much of that is real? And how much is just a front? No matter how strong your prison changes you, the uncertainty of a looming trial, the pressure of a life-altering sentence, the paranoia of wondering who might flip, it all adds up. Durk might be playing it cool on the phone, but behind closed doors, he's facing a war unlike anything he's ever seen before, and the severity of the rapper's case might soon make his jail stay permanent. Current state of Lil Durk's legal cases. Lil Durk's legal troubles have gone from bad to worse since his initial arrest. What started as a murder for hire charge has now evolved into something even more dangerous. He and his OTF associates are facing a full-blown RICO case. If convicted, this could mean life in prison, no parole, no second chances. The feds aren't just looking to lock Durk up, they're trying to bury him. The first superseding indictment, unsealed in November 2024, lays out a web of conspiracy, violence, and retaliation stretching back years. This isn't just about one crime. The government is painting a picture of Lil Durk as the mastermind of a criminal enterprise, using his Only the Family OTF imprint as more than just a rap label to them. OTF is a well-organized gang responsible for murder, assaults, and racketeering. If there's one thing the feds have perfected over the years, it's using racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations act to take down high-profile figures. This law was originally designed to dismantle the mafia, but now it's being used to target rap collectives and street gangs. The government is accusing Lil Durk of being the ringleader, using his influence and money to order hits, reward violence, and maintain OTF's dominance in the streets. According to the indictment, the case stems from the murder of King Vao in 20,120. King Von's death wasn't just another tragedy in the drill music world. It set off a chain reaction of revenge, paranoia, and bloodshed. Prosecutors claimed that after Vaughn was killed in Atlanta, Durk put out a bounty on those responsible, leading to the August 2022 attack on Quando Rondo's crew in Los Angeles. The feds alleged that Durk personally ordered the hit, sending his associates across state lines to track and kill a rival. They have receipts, surveillance footage, intercepted phone calls, text messages, and even lyrics they claim are direct confessions. It's not just circumstantial evidence. The case is built on months of investigation, witness testimony, and cooperation from inside sources. Lil Durk isn't the only one caught up in this legal storm. Several OTF members and close associates are facing similar charges, including Keon London Grant, aka Cuz Orvoni, allegedly played a role in setting up the hit, coordinating logistics, and securing weapons. DeAndre Del Wilson, aka DD, accused of traveling with the crew to Los Angeles for the attack. Keith Jones, aka Flacca, allegedly involved in the actual shooting, pulling the trigger alongside other gunmen. David Brian Lindsay, aka Brown, another key figure in the operation, suspected of helping with planning. ASA Houston, aka a boogie, said to have driven the getaway car and helped dispose of evidence. The indictment lists over 25 overt acts, each one a calculated step in what the government claims was an orchestrated murder plot, from buying plane tickets with OTF credit cards to securing automatic weapons and coordinating movements through encrypted messages. Every move was allegedly premeditated, and here's where it gets even worse. The feds aren't just looking to lock these men up for life. They're also pursuing criminal forfeiture, which means that if convicted, Durk and his co-defendants could lose their assets, homes, cars, jewelry, even money made from music connected to these crimes. The feds don't just rely on witness statements anymore. They have technology, and they use it well. The FBI reportedly intercepted multiple phone calls between Durk and his crew, many of which were coded conversations that prosecutors say point to a murder-for-hire scheme. One of the biggest pieces of evidence, a conversation where Durk allegedly referenced green-lighting a target and later rapped about the killing in one of his songs. The government argues that his lyrics are direct admissions of guilt, something we've seen before in cases like Inu Melly's and Young Thug's RICO trial. Beyond phone taps, the feds used surveillance footage tracking the movement of Durk's crew before and after the shooting, financial records showing payments made before and after the hit, testimony from confidential informants, which raises the possibility that someone inside OTF may have flipped. Initially, many fingers were pointed in the direction of an OTF member named Jam, as the informant, a longtime OTF member. Jam had spent over a decade in prison on an attempted murder charge, earning him a reputation as a loyal street soldier. But when he was released in 2022, the whisper started claims that he had secretly turned informant, wearing a wire for federal agents and feeding them intel on OTF's activities. And this wasn't just speculation. Sources alleged that Jam provided direct evidence linking Durk to a murder-for-hire plot targeting rapper Rondo. According to Chicago rapper King Yella, Jam even implicated Durk in the murder of Luab, Rondo's cousin, a hit supposedly carried out in retaliation for King Von's death. A video featuring DJ Academics and Chicago-based reporter Trenches News added even more fuel to the fire. In the clip, Trenches News detailed a key moment that may have triggered Jam's cooperation with the feds. Jam's baby mama had allegedly reached out to Durk asking for help with legal fees. But when Durk brushed her off, Jam took it as a sign of disrespect. "You're not supposed to brush off my call when I need something," Jam reportedly fumed. Trenches News backed up the claim, saying that's facts, and the industry took notice. Wack 100, a well-known hip-hop figure, also weighed in on Jam's street to snitch transformation. He recounted how Jam had once seemed like the definition of loyalty, serving his time without a word and returning to the streets with respect. He did 12 years, got out, interviewed, said he kept it real, brought him cars, gave him 000, made mention that ain't no smudge on his name. He ain't never been a rat caught a gun case, but eventually he flipped. Whack recall, however, OTF Jam addressed the many allegations of him snitching with a lengthy post in December 2024, where he denied being the snitch. "When the discovery come out, you going to see I'm not how the feds got onto us or built their case, Emma. Let the paperwork come out, cause it's going to tell it all," he explained. Nonetheless, the prosecution is building a case that Durk wasn't just an artist rapping about street life. He was living it, orchestrating crimes from behind the scenes. All Durk's legal battle is about more than just one man. It's about the larger war between hip-hop and the justice system. Time and time again, we've seen high-profile rappers get caught up in serious cases, from Young Thug's RICO trial to Bobby Shmurda's gang conspiracy charges. The difference here is that the feds are involved and federal cases are nearly impossible to beat. If Durk goes down, it could mark the end of one of the most dominant forces in modern rap. His music, his influence, and his empire all on the line. Fans are still holding out hope, flooding social media with #free Durk posts. But the reality is grim unless something drastic happens. The Chicago rapper, who once seemed untouchable, is now facing the possibility of spending the rest of his life in a cell. And the scariest part, the trial hasn't even started yet. The full weight of the federal government is coming down. And when the feds want you, they don't stop until they have you. What does the future hold for Lil Durk? Time is running out for Lil Durk. What was once a fast-moving trial has now been delayed, giving both the prosecution and defense more time to build their cases. But for Durk, that delay means more time behind bars, more uncertainty, and a growing sense that his fate could swing in any direction. His murder-for-hire trial, originally set for January 7, 2025, has now been pushed back to October 14, 2025, a move that hints at just how complex and high-stakes this case really is. With 230 GB of digital evidence, 20,000 pages of documents, and countless hours of surveillance footage and witness statements, the government is making it clear they are coming for him with everything they've got. But does Durk actually stand a chance? Or is this delay just prolonging the inevitable? Federal prosecutors are treating this case as one of the biggest hip-hop related criminal cases in years. The first superseding indictment paints a picture of Durk as a criminal mastermind who ordered hits, funded violent operations, and used his OTF label as a front for organized crime. But some legal experts and fans believe the case against him isn't as strong as the government is making it seem. One major problem for the prosecution: most of the evidence against Durk is circumstantial. The OTF credit cards used to book flights, rental cards, and masks for the alleged hitman. Prosecutors claim this ties Durk to the crime, but his defense team can argue that multiple people had access to These cards, just because someone used an OTF card doesn't mean Durk was personally involved. The message allegedly sent by Durk, "Don't book no flights or anything associated with my name." Prosecutors will argue that this shows he was aware of the murder plot, but Durk's legal team can flip it, saying it actually proves the opposite, that he was telling people to keep them out of whatever they were planning. Surveillance footage of OTF members meeting after the murder to discuss payments and music opportunities. The prosecution is using this to suggest that Durk paid for the hit. But if Durk wasn't physically present, it becomes harder to prove he directly ordered the attack. Some fans and legal analysts argue that without a smoking gun, like a direct order from Durk, a confession, or someone flipping on him, this case isn't as airtight as it seems. While the prosecution is building a massive case, some fans aren't convinced that Durk will be convicted. In fact, a growing number of people believe the case against him is too weak to hold up in court. One Reddit user confidently stated, "Mark my words, Durk will walk. His co-defendants are in a lot more trouble, even if one rat it, because he almost certainly has a record, and defense attorneys will shred him on cross-examination." Other fans echoed this sentiment, arguing that there's no direct evidence tying Durk to the crime. Unlike the actual hitman, Durk wasn't physically there when the murder happened, unless prosecutors have an undisclosed ace up their sleeve proving he was the mastermind. Might be difficult. Using OTF credit cards isn't proof of guilt. Fans believe that multiple people in Durk's camp had access to the label's funds and resources. Just because someone booked a flight or rental car doesn't mean Durk approved it. Durk's cleanup image works in his favor. His lawyers can argue that he's been giving to charity, converting to Islam, and focusing on positive music, like All My Life, to distance himself from street violence. Another fan broke down the case, further stating Durk has about a 60 to 80% chance of walking away from this. The only thing that could potentially link Durk to the murder for hire is that one message about not booking flights under his name. The defense could argue that this was Durk telling them, "Look, whatever y'all got going on, I don't want to be part of it." This argument suggests that Durk's lawyers could flip the evidence on the prosecution, making it seem like he was actively trying to stay away from the situation rather than ordering a hit. But not everyone agrees. Other fans have pointed out that the feds don't lose, and if they're coming after Durk, they must have enough evidence to back it up. Could one of Durk's co-defendants flip? Right now, the 5 other OTF members facing charges alongside Durk have a choice: fight the case and risk life in prison, or take a plea deal and potentially testify against Durk. One of them, DeAndre "DD" Wilson, has already requested a pre-plea sentence report, a move that suggests he may be considering flipping.